Look at that. That's the most famous piece of grass in sports. Lambeau Field, where the Green Bay Packers play. People in Wisconsin don't agree on politics or cheese or their favorite beer or best hunting spots, but everyone agrees on the Packers. They love them. It's an obsession. Win or lose, this place is packed 8 Sundays a year. And you know who owns the team. They do. The community. Green Bay, Wisconsin. The frozen north. It's not a big place. A lot of you probably can't even find it on a map. Now I was beginning the 3rd week on this Great Lakes road trip, and for the first time, I was out of the state of Michigan. The plan was to spend nearly 2 weeks driving around this state, and it begins right here. There's more to Green Bay than you might think. It's been called the best place to live in the country. I know. And the happiest, too. Well, I was shocked when I heard that, so I had to see it. And after spending 3 days here, well, you're going to have to wait and see what I thought. I can't tell you now. I need you to watch till the end, right? That's some cheese making going on. As you know, Wisconsin loves them some cheese. Love it. They eat cheese for breakfast here. We're inside of the Scray Cheese Factory, just south of Green Bay. The good folks at Scray, they don't usually do mini tours like this, but they obliged to some footage and a number of dumb questions for an hour or two. We had a great time. And they sent us home with some of their wonderful cheese, right out of the vats. We actually did several only in Green Bay things when we were here, and everyone we met was wonderful. By the end of the trip, I was beginning to be like, I can see why this place ranks so high, but I also can see why it's kind of off the radar, because we only hear about cities that have all the bullshit, don't we? Okay, so what the hell's going on in Green Bay anyways? Can it be as great as people say? Well, let's take a peek. Green Bay is way up here along the western shore of Lake Michigan. Well, technically it's on a bay on Lake Michigan. Last year, U.S. News and World Report called Green Bay the best place to live in the country. That's no ranking to be taken lightly. I mean, it's not like Wallet Hub said it or anything. This is big time news. U.S. News had nothing but praise for Green Bay. They talked about the low crime and the affordability and the culture here. It all made sense. But when has Green Bay ever been mentioned with places like Raleigh and Boise and Tampa? Now, that's when. And then right after the report came out, this place was called one of the happiest places in the country too. They talked about the job scene and commute times and the good schools and just things people say they like in life. Just the right size, everyone says. A quiet blue-collar town with a bunch of unassuming Americans. Is it happy? And is it the best? But I did see a lot of change around here. Good change. So back in the day, Green Bay was very industrial, just like it was in a lot of the Midwest. And of course, meat packing, that was a big deal here. That's why they named the local team the Packers. Duh. It was the paper industry that really made this place go. There are a lot of big paper companies here. Bounty, Northern, Charmin, all of them. They call this place the toilet paper capital of the world. Okay, don't laugh. It's very serious. If it wasn't for all that paper, Green Bay would have gone down the tubes with everybody else during the Great Depression. And today, things are really booming here, mister. Look around. They spent a lot of money on their downtown. New housing, restaurants, bars. There's trucking companies moving in. More paper companies coming. Some healthcare and insurance jobs. Cultural centers. 5-star hotels. All the old buildings are being turned into new ones. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions. Green Bay even got called the best city for hybrid workers recently. What? Not Nashville or Raleigh or Denver. Green freaking Bay. Crazy. San Francisco, New York, Seattle, Austin. All of their downtowns are emptying out. Not here. And hey, look. Do you see any bums downtown? I don't. No sleeping bags and trash and poop and pee everywhere. I didn't see one crackhead when I was here. It's clean and safe down here, and they lay down the damn law. Good for them. Everywhere you go in Green Bay, you're reminded of the Packers and how important they are for this city, its history and its culture. It's Wednesday morning. Right at 9 a.m. Well, not a lot going on downtown. However, let's not go too far. It's not very exciting in this part of town yet. I think there's still some work to do here. It's nice. It's just dead. I mean, this is weird. I don't know what I think about this. It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday. It's just, we're in the middle of downtown and nothing's going on at all. I've traveled a lot and I don't think I've ever seen a decent sized city's downtown so dead on a weekday. It's very interesting. Not what I expected. And also, I didn't expect no snow and 32 degrees and not freezing my ass off, but I got that too. And downtown at night, very ghost towny. It's clean and safe, but where's everyone at? It's almost like they're getting ready for a big party, getting everything prepped. A skeleton, this is. All bones, but no meat. But there's a seedy side here. Sit up, people. This is the stuff you like. A lot of people said there's homeless people in here sometimes. I don't see any. There's a fence around it now, but that doesn't usually stop them. There's drug use and poverty here. More crime than is reported. A whole side of Green Bay that people here want to ignore. Kinda. So I asked somebody in town, where's all your homeless people at? You gotta have them somewhere. And she told me, oh, our downtown park, it's bad. You should see it. There's maybe 5 or 10 people out there every day. Well, LOL, lady that told me that. I went down there to see it. Well, one of the parks had a fence around it to keep the bums out. And then down the street, I found the park she was talking about. And there they were. Green Bay's problem people. All 6 of them. Whatever they're doing, they got a handle on it. Green Bay is civil, sensible. How America used to be. How America could be. So, as all of this has been going on, the building up of downtown and the accolades, you know Green Bayers were paying attention. Oh, look, we're the number 7 best place, they said. Oh, wow, we're number 3. Holy shit, we're number 1? How are you? League night going on. League night. So what do people in Green Bay do to celebrate all this? They drink. Okay. They drank a lot way before anybody told them they were awesome. In case you didn't know, Wisconsin's drunkest state of all. If you look at a map of the states that drink the most booze, it's not even close. It's Wisconsin by a lot. If you gave America a beer, Wisconsin would drink half the bottle by itself and then burp and go take a big cheese dump. But here's the thing. They're not really paying the price. If you look at the health numbers, stuff like obesity, diabetes, heart disease, Scotties are just average. I don't know if it's good genes or moderation or what. But good for you guys. Now I'm going to show you a lot more of the party scene later. Don't you worry about that. And then, of course, you have the damn Packers. Now, the Packers haven't really won anything in 15 years, but they have more Super Bowls than anyone. They love the Packers more than you love anything else. They don't even care if they're good or bad. Somebody up here told me that when football season ends, everybody gets depressed. I believe it. People up here have Packer-themed weddings and funerals. They dump their grandpa's ashes on the field. They love it. Love it, love it, love it. Can't get enough of it. Look at this guy. I saw this all over. This guy has a Packers steering wheel. And then down the road, I saw they sell Packers rugs. Looks closed down, though. Maybe. Got more Packers stuff downtown. This whole block is devoted to the Packers and the history here. Boy, do they love their Packers. Can't emphasize that enough. Love it. The only part about it that sucks, it's really hard to buy your own seat. People wait forever to get season tickets. Some people never get them. That's because when somebody dies, their kids get the seats before you do. A friend of mine told me that the minute he was born, his dad went down to the stadium and put his name on the waiting list. That was 30 years ago. You never know, though. He was 60,000th in line when he was born, and now he's only 1400th. And if a friend invites you to a Packers game, you go. You don't have to work. Your kid isn't sick. Just go. The coolest part about the place is it just sits in a regular old neighborhood. A bartender in town told me that she can see Lambeau's scoreboard from her front room window. I'm like, you can see the stadium from everywhere in town, lady. The damn thing's 40 stories tall. The biggest TV screen in the NFL, right in the middle of a former cornfield.
The Packers are gay.
You can't say that, Mappy. We'll get run out of town. And take that Lions hat off. You know anything about football?
But they are gay. This guy played for him in 1992, and he was gay. They're woke. Go woke, go broke.
I don't think the Packers are going to go broke. I don't think these fans could ever boycott this team. Plus, wouldn't they technically be boycotting themselves?
Maybe we should boycott ourselves sometimes.
We're out here in the middle of nowhere, in farmland, just outside of Green Bay. Gray cheese factory. Okay, so we spent a lot of time looking at buildings and such, but what's the rest of Green Bay look like? Well, I'll show you. The outer ring of Green Bay, it's farming, hunting, Trump land. And then closer to the center of town, that's where all the factory workers and minorities live. A very interesting mix. It's kind of conservative and somewhat religious still. But even that's changing. This is De Pere. It's sort of part of Green Bay, sort of isn't. It's 10 minutes down the road. I think they actually just call the whole region Green Bay, even if you aren't in Green Bay. Anyways, if you ask people where all the fancy live around town, they'll tell you, go to De Pere. You can get a house for $400,000 right now, right on this street. That's not bad to live in the best place in America, is it? Where your kids won't get stolen, where they don't let everybody out of damn jail. We drove around the outskirts one afternoon, and I was very impressed. I don't know what some of these people do, but damn Green Bay. It's cheap, but the pay isn't amazing or anything. There's plenty of work your way up blue-collar jobs here. There's something for everyone, just not a lot of it. And by the way, if you're looking for realtors, let me know. I have some good friends up here who sell real estate. I can hook you up with them. And I know all about Green Bay. I can help you figure it out. Email me.
So as far as family goes, like, it's a great place to raise your children. It still has that sense of familial values, I guess. Like, there's just like a very high moral fiber here and a moral standard. So I think that is really what makes Green Bay, you know, this one of the safest places to live, as far as I'm concerned.
I have neighbors that are amazing and I can borrow a cup of sugar from, and my kids can play outside, and yet I have a store right down the road if I need to go get something.
Now I'm going to show you what Green Bay thinks is its bad side of town. Well, LOL, everyone. Welcome to the Green Bay ghettos. God. You can get something on the cheap side of town right around here for about $200,000. All you millennials who complain all the time, well, here you go. None of you are having kids anyway. A lot of this side of town's the blue-collar crowd. My kind of people. Hard workers with pride. And very Catholic. A lot of the people I met in Green Bay were all pretty nice. Kind of laid back, Midwest nice. And courteous. I didn't see anything in town that was really run down. There's a lot of older houses. But there's pride here in keeping the place clean. And no empty houses means, well, people want to be here.
I think Green Bay is so unique because it's got a large population, but it doesn't feel like it. It's the third largest city in Wisconsin, but it feels like a small town. We don't have a lot of like homelessness and crime and, you know, and a lot of the bigger city issues. And a lot of it's based off of our community and, like you said, our values. And so that's part of what makes Green Bay great.
So I hear that Green Bay is small town cliquey. Well, I know they hate fibs. You know who they are. Effing Illinois bastards. People in Wisconsin hate Illinois people moving up here and wrecking the joint. It's even worse down on the southern border. I'll show you that later. I heard it was really safe here, and then I looked up the stats, and I was like, it's a little lower than the US average. It's not New Hampshire or anything. I hear the gangs are a small problem here, but getting worse. That sucks. But we've had gangs forever. Just a part of life now. From what I could tell, the whole place is pretty vanilla.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Oh my God, Al, it's a perfect shot.
Now, we were here for 3 nights. And what do you think we did on our first night in Wisconsin? We drank. Not that much. The social scene here in the winter is dive bars. If you gotta get out, ain't much to do except that.
Our average temperature for this month is around 33 degrees, and this is currently the warmest winter on record as well.
No gloves. In Green Bay in February. Now, I think at this point, the weather is worth a mention. As you can tell the whole time, it didn't really look like winter anymore. I left that behind me up in Michigan, and I was sad about that. I wanted cold and snowy, but it was weirdly warm when we were here. I mean, all we see are these pictures of the frozen tundra, so I thought that's what it was going to be like. I mean, look how beat up the cars are here. Not this time, though. All 3 days were in the 50s and bright and sunny. Usually this river's froze up. Not this winter. There's barely any ice cubes in there. Man. Fox Harbor Pub and Grill. Downtown Green Bay. So for the first night, I wanted to check out this new hip brewery downtown scene thing I had heard so much about. It was a way to see New Green Bay. It was alright. Middle class people throwing back craft beers all night. I went for the local Pilsner. And remember this moment. This is the last time I was in Wisconsin. I didn't have a Miller Lite or a PBR in my hand. The Broadway district. The second night, though, I learned that the west side of the river is a lot more interesting than the east side is. Downtown stinks. Over here on this side, they put in this whole entertainment district thing in. Took a bunch of old buildings and they turned them into more places for people to drink. The north end of Broadway all looks very nice. It's all so new. Dang, Green Bay. We ducked into one of them called Copper State Brewing. It was a brewery. But the real Green Bayers, they hang out on the south side of Broadway, down here. Look at this map. There's bars along this street for miles. We started at the Sardine Can because they have vibrator races. That's the track right there. Everybody turns their vibrators on, and whoever gets to the end first wins. But it wasn't going on when we were there, damn it. Really wanted to see that. And then we went down the road. And man, every corner had a bar on it. My type of bars, too. We picked the Blue Collar Bar and Grill because this was Blue Collar Night. And look at that menu. It's the type of place where the server's a mechanic. This is where they hold their dart and pool leagues. It's always a league night here. They have those machines. I hate those damn things. Never win on them. And here's how serious they are about drinking. Only in Wisconsin have I seen these bar corner extension things. So you can fit more people at a bar. Why is this the first time I've ever seen this before? Is it just me? I got a sausage patty burger and some tots and a PBR. That's a working man's meal right there, boy. And overheard were discussions about roofing jobs and the Packers and things you can do with WD-40. No shit. And then on South Broadway, we have a joint called Brewski's. Down the road, it kept going. People over at the Blue Collar told me, don't go into Brewski's. It's pretty rough in there, Nick. I was like, yeah, right. But they were right. One of only a few places that's not my kind of place. I think there's 13 bars within 4 blocks on this side of town. Yes, the drunkest state indeed. Places to blow off some steam. Regulars has a whole new meaning when you're up here. At the Bourbon Street, I tried a spotted cow for the first time. Cool place. My kind of place. Except they had women's basketball on. This is bar dice. That's something that a lot of states don't do. It's kind of a Midwest thing. Basically, you just slam the dice down as hard as you can on top of the bar and try to beat everybody else. There's a bunch of different rules. It's complicated. There's like 10 different ways to play. It's a good way to speed up your buzz, I'll tell you that. Never seen that before. Soap dispenser's bottle of Crown on top of the urinal. Love it, Wisconsin. The good ones have dart machines, pinball machines, and the illegal gambling machines. And I was feeling lucky, so I lost to 20 in one of those rip-off machines. They always get me. I swear, these things are rigged. And then we ended the night with the Guinness back at the hotel pub. Look at that. Well, this is interesting though. 9:15 a.m. and they're already drinking at Ned Kelly's. Good for them. I'd only been here for a few days, and after seeing so many people whooping it up, I thought maybe that's how they're so healthy. Laughing, spending time with friends and family. It's good for the soul. You can sit at home and work all the time and still be stressed out. Stress will kill you. Or you can do this. Plus, as somebody pointed out the first day I was here, you can survive on beer. It's 90% water and filled with essential nutrients. And last night in town, we had to try out this supper club experience I've heard so much about. Wisconsin has this tradition that goes back to the Prohibition days when they gather and they all do a formal dinner. It's supposed to be a real hoot. Well, we tried it. We went down to the De Pere Union Hotel, just like everybody said. And we began the night at the bar, just like everybody said. I got a brandy old-fashioned, just like everybody said. And then we went in for our supper club dinner. And I did not get the surf and turf, like everybody said. Hell no. Now, I'm not disappointed often, but I was this night. This isn't really what I had in mind. I thought it would be more unique, I guess. I missed the blue collar stuff from the night before. I'd rather be there than here. But don't worry, YouTube. We got out of the bars when we were here, too. First day I was here, I went into Woodman's. That's their big fancy grocery store and came to see the famous cheese aisle that I had heard so much about. But before I even found the cheese, I walked in and I was like, liquor store? You mean liquor section? Nope. Liquor store. Inside the grocery store is another store just for booze. Wisconsin, I tell ya. They love their hooch. The liquor store is as big as a regular supermarket. Wow, look at all the brats. All the way down is brats, and is there a whole cheese aisle? And then I found it. The cheese section. More cheese than you ever knew there ever was. Of course, they have all the regular cheese you have in your fridge at home. Boring. But there's a lot of stuff cheese newbies like me have never heard of. Already moldy cheese. Vanilla cheese. Buffalo wing cheese. Rainbow cheese. Chocolate cheese fudge? What? Well, hey there, Mappy. How you doing?
Fine.
How's your mom?
Fine.
How's your kid? I remember he was having trouble in school there.
Yeah, he's good. Look, I gotta go.
Well, hey there. We should have some cheese and catch up, eh? We haven't hung out in a while. Where'd you go? Speaking of cheese, remember this place? The good folks at Scray Cheese were super busy the morning we came, making wonderful, golden, delicious cheese. It all starts right there in that big vat when they pour in the milk and enzymes and other stuff. It's liquid, and they fill it up all the way to the top. Looks like a big pre-cheese bath. And then these scrambler things come down and they mix all the cheese liquid up. And after a couple hours of that, it hardens into these big wedges. Then they take those wedges and they chop them all up into curds. And then they bag it. Very simple. Not complicated. Doesn't have to be. Just like Green Bay itself. What is it about the cheese in Wisconsin that is so famous? Is it the way it's made? Is it the history and tradition? Like, what is it?
So it's a lot of it's, in my opinion, a lot of it's tradition. So we've been using the same recipes, and it's been we've got a family recipe for 100 years. So it's a long tradition. But also they say it's in what we feed the cows. So
What do you feed the cows that makes it?
Grass and corn. I don't know.
It's just Wisconsin dirt tastes good.
I guess so. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Holy crap. That is amazing. Holy shit. Holy crap. I didn't just try cheese and beer. These people have many vices. One big fave up here, Kringles. Kringles make great gifts. Look at this place. They love their Kringles. Love them. When I was in town, everybody told me I need to go to Uncle Mike's Kringle shop. The place has been called the best Kringle in North America. You gotta have one, Nick. A Kringle's basically a pastry. And look at those things. My God. I was like, can I just buy a little piece? I don't have a whole classroom to feed. You don't do like quarters? Or eighths?
I know.
We're at the Green Bay Curling Club. Right outside of Lambeau Field in the background. I'm gonna do some curling today. Yep, that's me curling. Al from the Green Bay Curling Club gave my manager and I our own private lesson. Thanks, Al. Now, I like curling, but I don't like the not feeling like I can walk without falling feeling. It's really hard to walk around when you have one slick bottom on your shoe. They put it on there so you can slide on the ice, but I hated it. Felt like I was going to crack my head on the ice the whole time.
I don't know, that looks like he's going in.
And we did great. Now, I didn't get it on camera when my manager basically got a bullseye on her 4th throw ever, but she got me making an amazing shot, or at least my reaction. And that was only my 4th throw ever. I'm a natural. So is she. And then at the end, Al was like, have you guys played before? We did so good, we earned a pin. I think that means we're in the club now. The curler. And finally, we had to go to Lambeau Field. You know me. Outside of Lambeau, they put in this new Titletown district right by the stadium. And everyone was raving about it. You got to see Titletown. There's restaurants and hotels and condos that are all new. And tubing and ice skating. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. This place, I'm telling you, everywhere you turn in Green Bay, there's something going on. Sadly, the tubing hill was closed, and all the ice sculptures and the ice rink were melted. All because of the not winter that was happening up here. Whatever that was is gone.
Tighten up right quick.
And finally, inside Lambeau. We did a tour of the stadium when we were here. It was like $30 each. Totally worth it. They take you around for an hour. And they tell you about the history of the stadium and how many important games they've won and answer all your stupid questions. The place is more than 100 years old. It's very impressive. You can kind of feel the energy when you're walking around. Although my manager, she's a Bears fan, so I think she was just tuning the guy out when he was talking about how great the Packers are. Those benches, those look cold. I even did a Lambeau leap, even though you weren't supposed to. No Lambeau leaps, and no dumping Uncle Harry's ashes on the field. But I got a piece of that field, though. Didn't say I couldn't do that. Look at this room. What a cool room. The St. Brendan's Inn. Now, when we were in town, we stayed at the St. Brendan's Inn, right in downtown Green Bay. Super place. Awesome staff. I have to thank Kelsey and Linda for the great time they gave us. It really was one of the most comfortable stays we had on the entire trip. When you're in Green Bay, you need to stay at the St. Brendan's Inn. Shh. Do you hear that? Go away. Go away. I also learned that this place is haunted. And as you know me, I like haunted shit. The stop before, we were at that super scary place in Escanaba, Michigan. Well, the St. Brendan's Inn, supposedly, was built on an old burial ground. Well, I didn't see any of that stuff. Wish I did. The whole place felt very inviting. And of course, I had to see Green Bay. You know, the lake. I hate to report back, but that lake has some issues. They're trying to figure out how pollution and climate change is going to impact Green Bay in the future. Same thing I talked about when I was going along Lake Michigan earlier. A bunch of people told me that lake used to be froze over this time of year. When I was a boy, we could drive our truck out there on Christmas. Not anymore. Can't even walk on it now. I ain't saying it's climate change, but something ain't right. Maybe it's just a trend. But it is messing up the wildlife and the tourism up here. Frozen tundra, it is not. Green Bay, Wisconsin. One of the most uniquely American cities. And not even come in the summertime or in the fall for football season. I'm sure it's a real scene in the fall. It's really safe and affordable, and everyone's super nice. It's clean, and there's a lot of pride here. It has all the things people want in life. A sense of community, no bullshit, culture, a decent number of jobs, and it's getting better here. It ain't fancy. It's old-fashioned, simple, a little rough around the edges. I think they like it that way. Is this the best place in the country? I think the folks here think it is. And who am I to argue?
Everybody that's here wants to be here. You know, this isn't a middle ground. This isn't somewhere that somebody's going to come and look to, grow. This is where people come to raise a family and to be part of the community. It's not like New Jersey where you're on a stepping stone to get somewhere bigger and better. This is like when you're here, you want to be here and you want to be part of the culture and the community. So I think everybody that's here wants to be here, and we just treat everybody the same way because they're our neighbors.
I think there's a lot of reasons why Green Bay has been named the best place to live. I've been here for 35 years, my whole life. It's funny because I did try to move away. I think when you grow up in Green Bay, there's this this feeling that there's something more or different out there in a big city, and in a bigger city, I should say. We have 350,000 people in our metro region here, so it's not like we're super small. But you go to the Chicagos or some of those very big metropolitan areas, and you find out pretty quick what makes Green Bay so special, because there's a lot of things that aren't so great about living in a massive metropolitan area. There's cost of living. There's there's all sorts of usually more crime and that sort of thing. And what you realize is that Green Bay is one of those places that has everything you would want in a major metropolitan area, but is small enough that it's safe and tight knit, and it's really this really interesting place that can be a lot of things. There's tons of outdoor recreation, but there's a downtown. You can go fishing, or you can go to an NFL stadium. We can be a lot of things to a lot of people. And I think another thing that makes it great is the people. There's so many people here who are passionate about the area and want to make it a great place for people to live and to visit. And those people pour their work into making Green Bay a great place. And you feel that, I think, when you come to visit. I think you feel welcome. You don't feel like you're pushed away. You don't feel like you're in a touristy area. You feel like you're in a place that is, welcoming and wants you to have fun and wants you to enjoy our culture and our community. And I think people fall in love with that. And I think they fall in love with the sense of home that you get here. So many times you hear the national broadcast play on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, minus 40 degrees. And looking back in history, there was not a ton of development around Lambeau Field. It was built in a cornfield around a neighborhood. And for decades, those images were blasted out across the country on a national scale, that it's a small town and it's cold and it's those sort of things. But it's so much more than that time frame and that snapshot that people get. So those things are things that we're trying to change. Working with the Packers on how we can communicate more about things to do and share the developments that not only they've done but that our community has done as a whole. It's great that we get that national publicity and it puts us on the map as like a global destination. But sometimes the snapshots that they share on those national spotlights can be kind of myopic into one singular snapshot in time of what Green Bay is. And there's 4 seasons, there's tons of stuff to do. The summers in Green Bay, I don't even go on vacation in the summertime. My wife's a teacher. She gets off in the summer, so that's really the only time we could take a vacation. I find it really hard to leave in the summer. It's like the best summer place ever. There's outdoor music and boating and beaches and amusement parks to take the kids to and all that stuff. And I think it's definitely not that part of Green Bay doesn't get the spotlight that when it's January and football is being played in the cold, so I think that has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. And by the way, if you want to learn about where you should live, you should go to my website, homesnacks.com/findyourplace. On my website, you get tips on where you should move and what the costs are, and a whole lot more. It's like an AI Nick Johnson consultation for free. And if you want to buy some Mappy gear, click the store link on my homepage. From there, you can check out the latest merch. There's hoodies, coffee cups, stickers, and shirts. Show off how much you love Mappy and support the channel. And I'm on Cameo too. If you want me to send you or somebody you know a personalized video message, go to Cameo and search Nick Johnson YouTube. It's fun. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.
Hey YouTube world, I'm Sage, Nick's manager. You've enjoyed a Corner House Entertainment production, so watch another one.